Significance and importance of Jarred Vanderbilt cannot be expressed more. Seriously, this guy is absolutely incredible on the defensive end. I mean, Steph Curry had his hands full. We probably saw a better performance from Jarred Vanderbilt defensively than I think I've ever seen anybody on Steph Curry. I mean, Steph ended up getting hot down the stretch, but that was when they took Jarred Vanderbilt out of the game, which was understandable at the time. You know, you were struggling to score, you needed to put some points, you're up 14. It made sense. But regardless, Jarred Vanderbilt is so massive. I mean, we've talked about him several times on this channel, and I cannot talk about him enough. And it's not even just on the defensive end. It's everything just hustle related. Diving after loose balls. He's keeping, rebounds and plays alive. Like, the guy just does everything you could ask for from him. Whatever he provides and gives you on the offensive end is just icing on the cake. He's there solely just for the defense side. And he's going to be massive this entire series because he played 26 minutes. He's probably going to play that, if not more, every game this series because you need somebody to kind of contain and slow down Steph as much as possible. You're never going to stop Steph Curry, but the idea is to try to, make things difficult for him, but also just be a help defender. And that's what Jarred Vanderbilt did. And I want to show you this sequence here for you to see. So here's the sequence that I was talking about, right? So you see Jarred Vanderbilt containing, trapping, stopping Steph Curry, and then he ends up going and being the blindside help to defend and block the shot from Kevon Looney after Steph gives the dump pass. I mean, this guy is absolutely everywhere and is a menace on the defensive end. And here are Steph Curry's numbers when Jarred Vanderbilt was guarding him. So he was 2 of 10 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 2 turnovers, and 92% of the shots were contested shots. Jarred Vanderbilt is him. And shout outs to whoever made this image. I saw this image, but it didn't say who made it. So if anyone knows who actually made this, shout outs to them. But I mean, dude, the Vandolorian, come on. The guy is an absolute monster, and you cannot speak more highly. The level of defense and energy and just everything that he's put into guarding Steph Curry for that game. We've heard several just players talk about how exhausting it is chasing around Steph Curry and how you basically ran a marathon with inside of the game guarding Steph because he's constantly moving. He's constantly, running through all these screens and stuff. You're fighting through several bodies just to contain Steph. And Jarred Vanderbilt was denying him, keeping the ball out of his hands, beating him to spots. I mean, he put on a defensive clinic. And still, while doing that, being a help defender, trapping, switching, keeping balls alive, getting rebounds, the guy does everything. And it is just ridiculous, the level in which he's been able to perform. He is such a huge factor, and we've talked about him and his ability to be a factor in this series, last series, regular season, and just going forward. I personally believe the Lakers are going to win this series. I don't see, after what we saw from game one, a scenario where the Warriors win 4 games. I just don't. I mean, the Warriors had a historic, not just a good shooting night, they had a historic shooting night. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson scoring 20-plus at home together had never lost before that time. They're the first team to lose when 3 guys hit at least 6 threes in a game, and the Lakers beat. Every single thing that could have went the Warriors' way went that night, and the Lakers still found a way to win that game. I don't see a scenario where the Lakers are going to lose 4 games if they're locked in, focused, ready to go. The Warriors very well might never shoot that well again. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that they hit 21 threes, but at the efficiency in which they hit those 21 threes at 40%, I just don't see it. And especially with the Lakers defense, you're talking about an elite, insane defense. And the Lakers are the Lakers are compromising the three-point shot and saying, you have to beat us from 3, but we're not going to give you anything in the interior. And that's exactly what you saw. You have Jarred Vanderbilt on an island with Steph, Dennis Schroeder in spots when Vando isn't guarding him, but you just have him on an island, and then it's just pack the paint, make everyone else beat you, and if they beat us and win a game from 3, then they beat us and they win a game from 3, but they're not going to do it 4 times. And that's the best way to defend these Warriors. I mean, because you're not going to trying to get in a foot race and a shootout and all this stuff. We've seen teams try to do that over and over and over again, and they can never do that. They can never succeed in that because you're not. The Warriors invented it. You're not going to beat the Masters at their own game. So what do? You find other ways. You say, hey, they want to shoot threes? Let them shoot 50 threes a game. Make them have to make 20 plus threes a game just to stay in these games, and we'll just continue to dominate and control this game. We'll have Jarred Vanderbilt do his best to contain Steph Curry. Steph Curry's still going to have games where he, probably gets you 30 plus. I mean, he gave 27 in that game, but still, you live with that. Can Jordan Poole give the performance that he gave again? Can Klay Thompson stay consistent like he did in that game? All of those things are real questions for the Warriors, where the Lakers, you kind of know what you're going to get. You kind of know what to expect. And so going forward, Jarred Vanderbilt's going to be massive in this series. Very likely we end up playing the Denver Nuggets. And in that Denver Nuggets series, guess what? They have Jamal Murray. You're going to have to contain him because if he gets going, Denver is a very dangerous, scary team. Well, luckily, Jarred Vanderbilt can guard him, right? We've seen Jarred, make things extremely difficult for Luka, Ingram, Steph, Curry, Kyrie, right? You name it. He's made it difficult, whether they were big guys, small guys, middle guys, whatever. He's done his job on the defensive end. And then if we get past Denver, you end up, let's say you play the Sixers, right? James Harden, you got to contain James Harden or Maxey. If you play the Celtics, you're going to have to contain Jason Tatum. You're going to have to contain Jaylen Brown. And so to have a guy in Jarred Vanderbilt that can contain and give you the hustle plays and do the dirty work, it's so valuable to this team because we don't have another defender like him, right? We have guys that can defend pretty solid, right? I mean, you're not a top defensive team on just one guy, right? I mean, obviously Anthony Davis is the best defender in the league. That guy is ridiculous. Austin Reeves has had some great moments defensively. Dennis Schroeder is probably our best point of attack defender. Troy Brown in spots has done a good job. Last series against Desmond Bane, right? He had some nice moments there. In the first half of this game, he did a pretty decent job against Klay Thompson. Second half, he just started going ducking screens. I don't know what he was doing in that second half. He was rough in that second half. But the first half, he did a really good job of after Klay started getting hot, just contesting and challenging shots. So we have guys. LeBron has actually played very good defense, right? D'Angelo Russell, you got to give him credit. He's not an elite defender by any means. He's never been known as a defender. He's actually always been, looked at as a bad defender or a terrible defender. He's done a really good job. He's done a very good job in that Memphis series and in this series. He was chasing around guys and staying in front of guys and Jordan Poole and all that stuff and contesting shots. That's what you want. That's what you ask for. That intensity, that effort, going in and doing that. One thing with Jarred Vanderbilt, you don't have to worry about the intensity. You don't have to worry about the effort. Jarred Vanderbilt is going to show up. He's going to play his part. He's going to give you 100%. You know what you're going to get from him. Whatever you get on the offensive end is just icing on the cake and just an extra, cherry. But they're going to leave him in the corner. He's been hitting the corner shot. He hasn't been elite or great, but he was 1 of 3 last night. That's 33%. If he can do that, that's fine. Give us, a 3 or 2 a game. Give us around 8 points per game, which he's basically been doing. You do that, you play this defensive end on the defensive end the way that you've been playing it, that's perfect. You can't ask for more because he has his hands full. Jarred Vanderbilt's 23? I think he just turned 24. You're talking about a wet behind the ears type kid who is new in this league, and you're asking him to stop and slow down an all-time great elite top 10, 15 player of all time. And he's done it. Again, you're not stopping him, but he made him work. He made it difficult. He never got a good look. I mean, come on. Jarred Vanderbilt, he completely took out Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards in the play-in game. Anthony Edwards was non-existent in that game. I mean, every guy, it's not a coincidence. It's no longer a fluke. It's no longer like, oh, this guy just had a bad game. Like we've heard people say, Anthony Edwards just had a bad game. So every time he plays Jarred Vanderbilt, he has a bad game? Luka plays Jarred Vanderbilt, he has a bad game. Brandon Ingram plays Jarred Vanderbilt, he has a bad game. Kyrie plays Jarred Vanderbilt, he has a bad game. Steph Curry plays Jarred Vanderbilt, he has a bad game. Ja Morant. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on. Like, it's not a coincidence that Jarred Vanderbilt is having success defending guys because he has the foot speed, he has the length, he has the size, he doesn't get bullied or pushed around much, right? He's great against smaller guys because they can't get around him or over him like they can against, like, Dennis Schroeder. If Dennis Schroeder was like 6'8", he might be the best defensive player in the league, but he's not. He's like, 6'1". And so you have a guy in Jarred Vanderbilt who does that, but he's 6'7", 6'8", right? 6'8". I mean, that's great. 6'9" maybe, right? That's the difference. That's what makes Jarred Vanderbilt so great, is he is this giant that can disrupt and guard multiple positions. He can switch on smaller guys. He can switch on bigger guys. He can... whatever you need him to do. He can play the blindside help. He can, do it all. You bring the ball up, make some plays, get some back doors, knock down a three occasionally. The guy, I mean, you cannot speak more highly of this guy. And he has his absolute hands full with guarding Steph Curry, having to chase him around, all of those screens and just everything. And he's done a fantastic job. I mean, this guy... don't get me wrong, it helps. Being 6'8", what is he, like 215 pounds, something like that, 220 pounds. His strength, his size, his ability, his endurance also is what's really huge, really massive. And he's 23, just turned 24. He's only going to get better. If he develops even like a half decent offensive game, he needs to work on his hands, right? That's a big knock. They dump the ball down to him and he's always fumbling the ball. He needs to work on his hands and catching the basketball and that corner three. He needs, in this whole offseason, I hope Phil Handy and them just work on him, just taking that corner three. He should be shooting 1,000 corner threes a game, literally. If he can just get to like 38% or 36%, even league average, get to like 36%. If he can get to like 36% from three in that corner, this dude's going to be just good luck. Good luck. Because he can guard your best player and go get you 12 a game on the offensive end. Dude, the guy, good luck. He's already, for the Lakers this season, he was already averaging 8 and 7 with 2.5 assists on 55% shooting. What more could you ask from this guy? This guy does everything. He's shooting 33% from three this year. In the postseason so far, he's at 30%. So far in the postseason, in 21 minutes per game, he's shooting 50% from the field in total, 30% from three, 70% from the free throw line. He's giving you 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, almost 2 blocks, 1 steal, and 7.5 points. So compare that to his regular season. He's giving you 8 points per game, 2.5 assists. So his assists have gone down. 7.5 rebounds. So his rebounds have gone down a little bit. But again, he's also guarding Ja Morant outside on the perimeter and Steph Curry outside on the perimeter and just doing everything he can to deny it. So he can't really be down low to do that. The guy, he deserves all the hype, all the love, all the attention. And if we win this series, which I do believe we will, he's going to be a huge factor. Watch Steph Curry's stats this entire playoff series, and especially watch them with Jarred Vanderbilt on him. And I don't think that 2 for 10 shooting with Jarred Vanderbilt on, I don't think that's an anomaly. I don't think that's something that's like bizarre, because again, he does it to everybody. Steph Curry is an absolute monster and an absolute menace, and he's going to have that game where he just abuses Jarred Vanderbilt, very likely, right? Because it's Steph Curry. Again, top 10, top 15 player all time, 4-time NBA champion, scoring leader, greatest shooter of all time, greatest three-point shooter, all of that, right? You expect Curry's going to have some monster game at some point in this series. But for the most part, outside of that, I think we're going to get more of this game one type Steph with Jarred Vanderbilt guarding him than we will like game 7 Steph where he went off for 50. I don't think that that's going to happen. Also, a lot of Steph's points in that Sacramento game or in series period came at the rim. He's not going to get that. He's going to be relegated to shooting, little 20-footers and 3-point shots. It's what he's going to be relegated to. So he's going to have to shoot at about as good of an efficiency as he ever could. But again, can't speak more high on Jarred Vanderbilt. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you love the Vandolorian? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, let me